How to make an electric guitar? Well, I don't know, but from the name of it, it's just a combination of guitar and electricity. Here's a simple one I made. Here's the basic electric guitar I made with 4 strings. We can add more strings if you want to. Please join me for the first time to hear how it sounds. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It definitely made me sound like a rock star, although it feels more like an electric chair than a guitar. So for example, if I connect my 12-volt supply here to the primary and charge it and then disconnect it, the voltage of the primary should jump up, creating a huge voltage on the secondary here that should create a spark. Let's try it out. There is nothing. Is there actually a voltage? Well, my theory was right. Obviously, there is high voltage on the secondary. Basically, you have 2 copper rails that are tied to the power lines, and the projectile is just a piece of wire that shorts the 2 rails and jumps forward. Let me demonstrate. I plug it in, and now the rails are live, so under no circumstances you should touch the rails. Now I put the projectile on. Oh, maybe she dropped the wall adapter in the water, completely submerged it, and then plugged it in. Ow! So I guess this is pretty dead. See, soapy water is much more conductive than regular water. It shorts everything together. And let's charge the car battery with these. Now I have to wait till... Remember, to charge the battery with another, you have to connect the positive to positive and negative to negative. Otherwise, you'll short the battery. I've made my simple circuit here and I attach it to the primary, and I'm using my 12-volt drill battery as the source. Let's try it out. Wow, this is wild. You can see how far... Okay. Slippery. I could take it off. Ow! Maybe that's it. I tried to pull out the wall adapter with my soapy hands and they slipped. So I tried to shove my fingers under the wall adapter and they touched the exposed contacts. I made it look more like a taser by gluing these nails to it. Let's look at it spark now. This gap is quite wide. Let me measure it for you. Well, you know, metal is generally conductive and electrons always find the easiest path to travel. So I would never touch any high voltage with a 100-mile long metal pole. Let's see if it picked up any charge. Okay, let's try it. I have my 120-volt AC live wires here and I'm just gonna connect. These sparks are so strong they can set a piece of paper on fire. See? Always be careful when you set things on fire at home. Handling live loose wires like this is quite dangerous, so I tied one side to the filament and I'm going to carefully touch the other side of the filament. As you can see on the scope, the output voltage is around 170 volts. Now I like to use my 100 ohm resistor and connect it to the output to see how the waveform changes. A quick calculation shows having 170 volt across 100 ohm generates 300 watts of power. It's like having a 300 watt lamp between your fingers. It burns your skin very quickly. These screws also get quite tight and need some good force to open. Oh my god, I just hit and released the jack accidentally and the car fell over. The wheel fell right on my shoe, but I was able to pull my foot out fast. Now I will measure some waveforms. I connected the probe to my output lines, connected my circuit to this power bar, and now I will turn the power bar on. Make room for the thicker pads, and for that I use my clamp. Never put your fingers in a clamp. Shame. See, the projectile is conductive, so touching the rails with it is like touching live wires. Now it's time to lower the jack.
And then God said, "Let there be steel toe shoes."
A car is very heavy. Let's measure the current too. Oh, it's not making a good contact. This is bullshit. It's as if the internet is wrong. I was running 313 amps through it and it didn't even move. How much current do I need? A bazillion amps for it to move a teensy bit? My stupid DC fan can cut your finger running on half an amp. Now I use pliers to hold the resistor. See, the output voltage drops, but with very small ripples because there is a lot of filtering. Wow, I was holding that. I let it cool down for a while and the ceramic core takes a long time to cool down. Let's look at it on the scope. I'm probing the live 120 volt AC input and I have my capacitor and diode here and I'm probing across the diode. Now if I connect the circuits together... Wow! Alright. The polar capacitors are no good for reverse voltage. I have a piece of 22 gauge wire here which I'll measure the voltage across. If I connect it to the output of my auto transformer, I should... and burn my fingers again. Eventually we will have to isolate this current accurately. You need a relatively accurate shunt resistor. For example, here I have a 105% resistor and I'm gonna run 2 amp through it and measure the voltage across it. See, now the voltage reading here is actually showing that there is 1.8 amp running through it. It's burning now.